Hello and welcome to Happy Hour again, coming to you today from the beautiful social distancing home studios located in Ventura and Camarillo, California. And welcome back to Happy Hour again.
Laughing all the way in.
It is Happy All the Way, and this is indeed our 50th, the big 5-0 episode for us. It has only taken us, 4 years to get to this point, I think? But hey.
I think so.
I was just looking at SoundCloud and looking at how many episodes we've done, and we've done in this group right here, we've done somewhere in the neighborhood of like 15. It was a really quick count, just in the last couple months, which is more than what we managed to do in about
the last couple years total.
It took a pandemic. It took a pandemic to bring us all on Zoom.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's all right. And like any old guy turning 50 tonight, we're just goofing off a little bit and enjoying our time, and nobody can tell us any different. So welcome to the show.
Right. We've earned it. We've earned it.
And as Jacob Bassa said in the comments there, that's 50 in dog years. So we're feeling our age.
Whatever,
I'm not sure if that works.
I'm
not sure if that works in our terms, but it's the sentiment.
Someone's been drinking beer with us tonight. Cheers to Jake Bass. Joby, I know I sent you the list, and Curtis, I sent you the list of the top 50 beers in the world. And we were talking beer as we entered the break, but I actually would like to hear one of Curtis's top 50 lists that we talked about prior to you joining tonight. Because I think it's a good one. And I'd like to get some feedback from Curtis's top 50 list that might get him in trouble.
Well, I decided to, so, there was a conversation a short conversation through Messenger between the three of us of maybe we should pick our favorite episode of the last 50, maybe talk about it. And I was like, God, there were just too many points. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to pick these different sort of aspects of those when I learned something really big, like how to drink tequila, like how to taste tequila. And it turns out you don't do it in a shot glass, right? So,
right.
And that there's three different.
There's not a lot of tasting going on,
right? That there's three different kinds,
yeah.
and that was with Alex Vecchio from Montalvo Tequila, which was that was a lot of fun. He's done a couple times, right?
About Montalvo,
right? So that was to have him help kind of teach me how to drink tequila, taste tequila. That was pretty awesome. But I think what Jason is talking about is I decided to go spin off and just pick 50 as a random number to Google. And I came across.
He typed in 50 best in the Google and came up with some results.
And what's interesting is when I did that, it actually gave me a Yahoo article. So that tells you that this is legit all the way around.
That is a trusted source.
Right. But this is 50 actresses over 50 who still rule. So I'm just going to go down the list here. And I would say that I agree with nearly every single one of them. Robin Wright, Julianne Moore, those kind of top the list there. Halle Berry, Selma Hayek. I mean, this is an esteemed list of actresses that we enjoyed watching as young men, certainly, growing up. Diane Lane.
Because we're not as young as we used to be, Curtis.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't mean to speak for either one of you two, but Vivica A. Fox in whatever she, in everything she was in, including when she played, was she Black Mamba in Kill Bill?
Yeah.
Ooh,
I think she.
She was. I think that was her name, wasn't it, in Kill Bill? Going all the way through. So these were all of my my top 50 lists anyway. Looking at actresses like Lisa Kudrow. I don't know if you've seen Lisa lately. If you've watched Space Force on Netflix.
I have not been watching Space Force, but I've seen the preview, and it seems like something you would be watching on the weekends.
It's something that you would binge on the weekends, definitely. So those are you know, just as a
I
quick.
like some of the people
Google.
on this list, Curtis. Though I'm appreciating that you pulled this up. We got Marissa Tomei. We've got Sandra Bullock, not too shabby.
So they still have to be. They still hit. What was it? They're still fire.
They're these
So it's
who
not
still
just-
who still rule, right?
Well, still
So
rule.
there's
yeah.
Joey. I want to ask you about Miss Helen Hunt because she's been in some interesting movies, including I think it was Contact, where
Yeah,
she
I
went
think
into
it
the little.
Was that her?
capsule.
Or was that
Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster?
Oh, it might have been Jodie Foster.
It
But
was Jodie
both
Foster.
of those ladies, I think actually what I'm about to say still applies to both of them. There's always still a pouty, like distraughtness about each one of them when they talk. There's something in their voice and their facial expressions that always makes me feel like maybe a bad event happened right before they got on camera.
Helen Hunt, the sitcom. I mean, I was really young, but I'm trying to remember the sitcom. This is going to be really stupid that I don't remember it. But
It was with the dude.
the dude, yes, and it was just them two in an apartment. What the hell was the
Right.
sitcom?
Because what I'm thinking of, because he was in Aliens, he was the evil the evil corporate dude who was playing nice.
Yes.
Paul Reiser was Paul Reiser, but I
Paul
can
Reiser.
only remember Helen Hunt. Like I remember that show because I mean I was of an impressionable age too. But thinking of Twister, of Helen Hunt and Twister.
Oh yeah, Twister.
Yeah.
Bill Paxton, not Bill Pullman.
Right. Bill Pullman
There
is
is-
arachnophobia, and Bill Paxton
There is something
Twister.
there though. Bill Paxton and Bill
Right.
Pullman. This
Right.
is a thing. Like Bill Paxton, rest in peace. Actually, he passed away. So Bill Pullman is still alive, I think.
Right. Okay,
All
I'm
right.
trying to.
So
Curtis,
who
what's your
is
take
number
on
one?
Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
Right.
Seinfeld, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, or now?
Yeah.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
Oh, touche. So I think you're talking about the Veep versus Seinfeld, right? Which era do you want to go with, Joby?
Well, I had to go with Seinfeld because I was an impressionable age also when that came out.
I do. Mad About You was the name of the TV show.
Mad About You, Jesus.
But
did we
but
not
I'm
remember that?
thinking I'm thinking about even Julie Louis-Dreyfus in Arrested Development, and for anyone who's an Arrested Development fan, will remember her as the lawyer who was pretending to be blind in order to gain favors from the court when she was trying cases.
I have not seen that, but that sounds great.
Okay, I would like to throw out my pick right now as I'm scrolling through this list, and I would like to go with Rene Russo in the Thomas Crown Affair in terms of seduction. There's something about that scene where they're dancing out on the main ballroom floor, and the light hits her transparent dress just right. Yeah, Rene Russo, top of my list, and based on what's going on in front of me.
Yeah. And
I feel like this is where we may have to reel this back in right now.
Well, I can also throw out Meryl Streep. She's a few people down from that one.
We may have to start reeling this back.
All right, so if we're gonna reel this back, then
Well, we don't have to.
Curtis.
We don't have to. This is a drinking show.
Well, we could close with the action temptress herself, Sigourney Weaver. I mean, how many
Right.
different movies did she
Okay.
fall into that were pop culture, including Ghostbusters, Cabin in the Woods, Avatar, and obviously Aliens trilogy. I mean,
I put
quality
her
actress.
at the top 5 list of conspiracy theories of when I was a kid. Top 5 that she was a dude. Nothing wrong with it. Just saying that when I was a kid, when I was younger, that was one of the. Never heard that one. Did that not make it to Indiana and Idaho? Did that or South Dakota?
I know. It may have
I
made
don't know
it
why
to
I said
Idaho.
I don't know why I said Idaho. Yeah, that was a big rumor.
It did not
out
make
here.
it that
was
way.
like, Sigourney Weaver is a dude, man.
Are
Like,
you talking about Sigourney Weaver? Or are you talking about Jamie Lee Curtis?
Oh, wait a minute. There may be two dudes.
Well,
Because
yeah,
Jamie Lee
you wanna go
Curtis
Jamie
made
Lee
it to
Curtis is
Idaho
on-
and South Dakota.
Is Jamie Lee Curtis on the list? Because I don't think she's on the list. Is she on the
I
list,
think she
Jamie?
was up there somewhere. But the last one, I think that's an interesting pick and a sleeper for me, Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren is on all of those lists. Like there's something about Helen Mirren, whether it was her in her teens or all the way through, is just is always at
She's
the top
got
of
a
the list.
sexiness and a poise about her for me in her movies that,
Mhm.
I don't know. Helen Mirren, cheers to you for being my sleeper list.
There you go. Well, when I
All
was
right,
looking,
wait,
when
go,
I was,
go ahead, Curtis.
Joby's his cheeks are turning so red right now. He had to go off video.
I went off video because I got my Sigourney Weavers and my Jamie Lee Curtis and my just like Bill Paxton, Bill Pullman. I got my two confused.
because I believe Bill Paxton worked with both of them, so you'll just have to work that
6 degrees.
because Bill Paxton was also in Aliens.
He was
So he worked with Sigourney
that's
Weaver
right.
and Helen Hunt, and I'm sure we can find some.
Did he work with Jamie Lee Curtis?
And I'm sure we could find a place where a movie that he was in with Jamie Lee Curtis.
The only list that would make Joby more flushed and blush on camera would be the top leading men in Hollywood right now.
Touche, Jason. Touche.
Oh, we've all got that.
All right,
list.
so let's. Should we try to go back to the beer and give a little segment back to things we know better about?
Let's do it.
All right, so I sent you guys both the link again from beerinfo.com, top 50 beers in the world. Do you want to go reverse order or do you want to start right at the top and scroll our way down?
Well, I think what if we go right to the end? Let's name off those like couple of like the bottom 5. You want to do those?
Okay,
all right,
let's
so
do the bottom 5.
The bottom 5, and let's scroll the list and also maybe mention the beers that we've all tasted, because I think it'd be interesting to see how many of these 50 we've all experienced.
All right.
All right, so number 50,
Yeah.
Lost Abbey Angel Share.
Had it. Delicious.
Right.
There's a bourbon barrel version, not cognac version. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so number 49, Cantillon Le Pepe.
Check.
I see Cantillon's tough for me because I can never remember the name. So I know I've had one, but I don't know if it's that one. So I'm gonna go half check.
So let's say I know I've had the Lupepe, but I don't know if it was the Pure Creek. So like
Half check mark.
yeah, is that a half?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Or is that the only one? Okay.
Excuse me, teacher, can I get partial credit for that answer?
Yeah, it's a partial credit. It's a partial credit because
All right. So Curtis, number 48, Ballast Point Victory at Sea.
Yep.
Is it regular version? Yep, regular version had it.
This regular version had it. All right. Russian River Beatification at 47.
Hold on, this is where it gets technical. Batch 002 plus.
Oh yeah, I can't speak to that.
If you had 003, you're not in the running. So
yeah, like it doesn't matter.
oh man, I had 003. Damn it. All right, and I apologize because since I'm on my phone, I have to go back and forth through the list. I'm not on the computer today, but
all right, no problem. So we got next one on 46, Lost Abbey Barrel Aged Serpent Stout with cocoa nibs and coffee. I can't say I had that one. That's too long of a description for Christ's sake.
I think you have had that one. I feel like Serpent Stout is just Serpent Stout, right? Or is it a special? Whatever. Let's just say we haven't had it. Screw it. Okay.
All right, so Avery Uncle Jacob Stout. I've had that one. That's a big.
I've had that one too. Very big beer.
How about
is this the
Struise
50
Black
biggest
Albert?
beers or the 50 best beers?
No, this is just 50 top 50 beers in the world.
Okay.
As ranked.
I've had this.
That's a good clarification though. Let's read the criteria. Who were the judges? Rate Beer is now home to the most experienced beer critics in the world with 108 master beer tasters having over 5,000 documented beer reviews. Jan Bulvig of some big word in Denmark that I
That
can't
be
pronounce.
Disneyland.
Vestjylland, Denmark
This guy
is
has
the world beer reviews leader.
27,000.
27,800 beer reviews.
Take
to
that,
his
Dr.
credit.
Bill.
And for those of you listening, Jan is a gentleman, and if I gave the wrong impression, Jan, I apologize. Don't mean to discredit you.
I believe
But
that's
Jan out of
Jan.
Denmark, maybe
I have to say-
Jan Bolvik.
I challenge Kevin. I'm going to challenge Kevin right now to see how many reviews he has because this person has 27,828.
Well,
Kevin,
in all
where you
fairness,
at? You know
Joby,
where you are.
You gotta go Kevin official reviews versus Kevin spoken or verbal reviews.
This doesn't say official reviews. It just says beer reviews.
Yeah, but these are documented on the website.
Okay, all right,
Kevin's
that's
reviews
fine.
are
Fair
not
enough.
necessarily documented on the website. They may just be in casual conversation.
Fair enough. Because a lot of these are big beers. I'm just saying. I'm reading through the list, and there's a lot of big beers.
I think what's great though is I feel a little, I want to pull my shirt a little bit and pump
Yeah,
my
yeah.
chest because I've had quite a few of these.
All right.
And
how
I like
about
some of the
let's
names that are
do
jumping out. I mean,
minus the
Great
top
Divide
5.
Espresso Oak.
Yep. Minus the top 5. Look through and pick out some favorites. Espresso Oak, definitely. I like Southern Tier Chocolat. That is a delicious beer. Chocolat Stout. It's CHOK. It's number 41.
All right, I got you. Yep. I like
I
that a
mean-
few of these are like just mainstream beers too that catch me off guard. Like Bell's Expedition Stout. That is just a really good, well-balanced, smooth stout. And I like that it made this list.
Yeah.
21 and 22, Three Floyds Dreadnought IPA,
Yes.
Imperial, and the Zombie Dust. Oh, those are.
Now,
I might put those a little
Three
higher,
Floyds
man.
is actually-
that seems a little low. 21 and 22. I'd
It
put
does
those
seem a little
higher.
low, but Three Floyds is only about 40 minutes from my parents' house and where I grew up. Every time I go back to visit them, I try to grab bottles and bring them back with me. And the Dreadnought, I think, I agree with you. It's 21 here. A lot of people probably haven't heard of it, but if you can get your hands on some Dreadnought, you should. Zombie Dust is a great pale ale, but the Dreadnought is a unique variation that you're probably
is
not
very
going to.
good.
Right.
And you want to make sure you get fresh Dreadnought because it's delicious.
And if I can,
Most
do
definitely.
2 more, 30 and 31. So St. Bernard's Apt 12 and
Oh,
North Coast Rasputin.
yes.
Now I don't know
Yes.
about. I don't
Dude,
know
I
if
gotta-
I've had the anniversary bourbon barrel aged one, but any old Rasputin is.
Yes.
Is
Joey
St.
and I were-
Bernardus Ab 12 is delicious.
And this big ass bottle of Ab 12 I got sitting over in the wooden boxes.
Oh,
just
that's right.
dying for a celebration. Yeah. So what is that? That's a 3 liter, Joey. Or 6
I
liter.
think that's actually a 9 liter, which is a case.
It's a
case
big
of
boy.
wine. It's a case of
So
wine.
if and when we ever get out of this quarantine COVID
That's
crap,
when we're popping it. I love it.
yeah, we're
Do
gonna. I
it.
think it should be a big celebration because this should age well. It's a really beautiful Belgian beer that should hold up. And when we all get back into the restaurant and can have a show in person, I would like to crack this bottle with everybody.
That sounds good.
I'm just. My only suggestion for that is that we start the show around 9 a.m. because.
What Curtis is not saying is that his other like sidebar suggestion for that is that everyone's in some kind of hazmat suit and at least 6 to 8 people.
No. I'm just. No.
No, he
because-
means that we got to start drinking at 9
Yeah,
a.m.
because
is what
we
he's saying.
can't finish that in one sitting, so we've got to start.
I
around
don't
9
think
a.m.
we should be finishing that. I don't think that's 3 liters.
Shame
of
on
Ab
you.
12
Shame.
each.
Shame.
I want to.
we'll
point
share that
out
with
30,
the masses. It'll be
38. Number 38, a classic for me, and I don't think they make it anymore. And that's the Stone IRS.
Mhm.
Delicious beer. Delicious beer.
You know what's exciting for me is to see at number 40, just below where you're at, Joby, the Dark Horse Bourbon Barrel plead the 5th. Dark Horse. So
Oh, yeah,
years
Dark
ago
Horse.
in another life, I worked for a software company, and Dark Horse is just over the border from where my folks live and where I grew up. I was on a project at a casino with a software company, and they served great pizza there, but they were still early in their years. So when I was visiting them, they weren't super well known, and I actually got to experience this brewery before they blew up. And it's fun to see how breweries evolve. I know we got a lot of great Ventura County breweries as well that, you know, we've seen them grow and blossom as businesses and as brewers. I like when I can recognize a brand and be like, hey, I went there when they were small, and you just walked in
Yeah,
and it
Dark
was,
Horse.
you know, kind of a saloon or a pub kind of feel.
Now, I forgot the number real quick, but Oscar Blues 1050.
Number 32.
Is a classic stout, classic big
Mhm.
stout. And they have a barrel aged 1050, which is delicious too.
Mhm.
So
nothing like
Oscar
drinking-
Blues,
Yeah, nothing like drinking that out of a can too. So it's a 10
exactly.
10
All their stuff
mhm.
was. They were pioneers on the canning.
They were,
I mean,
yeah.
definitely.
Mhm.
They canned a lot of stuff before anybody else did. But yeah, you're right. Nothing like drinking a 10% beer out of a can.
It's great for camping.
So with that, let's I want to throw a couple of zingers at you guys, and let's see if we can implement a little controversy to this list. How about number 8, Goose Island Bourbon County Stout? Thoughts and feelings?
Does it have a version on it? Does it have a year? Because I can't look
It
at the
does
list
not.
right now.
It is a blanket
Does it
statement
have
of
a
Goose
batch
Island.
number?
It does not. Bourbon County Stout, blanket number 8.
All right, Curtis, you want to start? Because I have my opinion.
Well, God, you know, it's been so long since I've had it. I think that I've always appreciated that beer, even after they were bought and sold and everything else. You know.
Oh,
I mean,
there's
it's,
the caveat.
well, but I think it was still a good beer. But I haven't had it for so long that I don't know, and I wouldn't be able to probably remember what, like, compare it to the independent Goose Island to the bought kind of
Well,
one.
I'm going to relinquish the floor to Joby, but I do want to acknowledge the little asterisk that you just referenced, Curtis, in terms of after they were bought. Because if you want to talk to a true beer geek, any brewery that gets bought, by default, the recipe after the purchase date always tastes different. No matter if they change the
Okay.
recipe or they brewed it in the same location or not, anyone who is a purist of that brewery always thinks that immediately the beer tastes different. And Bourbon County, I think, unfortunately fell victim to that as soon as they got purchased.
All right. I'm gonna go right between you two. I want to say it was like, I don't know, Jason, can you look it up real quick when they got bought? Was it 2015, 16? So to me, you have to appreciate that beer for what it was. It was the whole concept of it, and like the rare and the coffee version, and it was it was insane for what it was. And the whole Black Friday thing, I look forward to that every year. Like Black Friday release.
Such a great marketing campaign.
You couldn't buy it before Black Friday. What year was it?
Purchased in 2011 by Anheuser-Busch InBev, Joby.
It was that long ago, 2011. Wow.
Yeah, almost 9 years. It was 9 years ago at this point.
So here's how I was going to go between you guys, because I feel like that's the one beer for me where I saw my hardest core beer geeks still want to drink it, even though it was owned by AB InBev. Like it was one of those beers where they were like, I'm not drinking any of the other shit. I'm not drinking the crappy IPA. I'm not drinking, I can't remember the names of the other ones now, the Matilda and all these. They're like, I'm going to come out once a year and I'm drinking Bourbon County and I'm going to buy it and I don't give a shit like if it's owned by AB. And that said a lot because, people are hardcore about the whole. Now, I don't think it has that cachet anymore. They also had a bad batch year, which killed it for everything. They had an infected year, the famous infected bottles, and that was the end of it for me, I think. And for a lot of people,
that was the downfall, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and I think it's sad because I grew up about an hour and a half from downtown Chicago. I visited the breweries, and they actually, despite some of the people's criticism, they have some really interesting beers. I love the Belgian series, the Matilda, the Sophie that you're talking about.
Delicious.
And for me, part of the downfall of the Bourbon County direction is that they started coming out with too many variations. They were trying to really play up the unique flavor combinations and playing to the masses instead of sticking with Bourbon County Stout as like a flagship of that marketing brand. And I think the more times they implemented new flavors and concoctions each year, the more they varied themselves away from the original concept.
Yeah, the only one I would say that I wish they made or you could get again was Backyard Rye, because it had like blueberries and it was literally like drinking like chocolate covered fruits. Like it was so good. I think it was Backyard Rye. I don't remember what year that came out, and the coffee, I enjoyed the coffee, but
I think I remember too. Didn't you, Joby? Didn't you do a tasting of? You had.
We had all
like
the
this
different
whole
ones,
vertical of all the different flavors ones.
Yeah, it was. It was a big deal for us. We'd get the beer and they would have these like stickers on them, like "Do not tap until November," whatever Black Friday was. And then Jason,
we could get in trouble when they were.
But then to your point, they started just releasing it that Monday before Thanksgiving. Like, yeah, go ahead, sell it. Like, we don't care anymore. Like, it doesn't matter. So it did lose a lot of these things. But I think it still has its place, like in those top 50 beers. I agree. So I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna vote for yes. It deserves to be on there.
All right, and I agree that it needs to be on the list. I don't know if I would agree with it being at number 8. I'm intrigued by the fact that Bell's Hop Slam from Bell's Brewery out of Michigan made number 6. I think
that's a tough one for me,
being a Midwestern boy.
I'm a West Coast guy.
Yeah, and that's the trouble. So that's the breakdown I was about to offer to you, is that as a Midwestern boy, I can appreciate the quality of that beer, but now having lived on the West Coast since 2004, man, there are a lot of other IPAs that blows that one out of the water.
Yeah. Curtis, what say you?
Well, I was just looking at number 11, which I loved, which was the Heady Topper. And every once in a while I could get my hands on that. I mean, I was out on the East Coast one time and I'm trying to think, I picked it up somewhere else. Can we get that out here now?
Yeah, you can get it out here now. Another argument for, if I'm not mistaken, it's Alchemy or Alchemist Brewing, right?
Alchemist, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, they stopped production of every other beer to just make Heady Topper, if I remember correctly. Like, they didn't make any other beers. So I don't know if they were bought or anything like that, but I do know there was something with production because we got it out here all of a sudden. It was like readily available, 4-pack, 16-ounce cans.
Right, and that always screams to me as they were bought out, because all of a sudden you can get it in the places where you could never see it
in Camarillo and Ventura, California. Yes, right. That means that something happened.
But Heady Topper will never rival Institution, Curtis. Never.
Well, one day there might be a day where one of our local breweries will be on that list. That would be awesome. I mean, Stone. Who do we have from SoCal? Just Stone, right?
Oh yeah.
But
Basically, I don't see.
I
Oh,
say
Long
that in
Russian
jest,
River.
but honestly, there's some really great local beers coming out of Ventura County. It's just interesting because there's always a marketing engine behind some of these big brands, right? That's a big piece of getting people in front of it. And when we talk about the Three Floyds, Zombie Dust, and some of their other really fancy, like Dark Lord, they have a whole day dedicated to Dark Lord out of Three Floyds. They create a festival out of it. The marketing that you use to drive your brand sometimes influences people's perspective. Frequently.
Can you run us? Can you run us through the top 5? Go 5 to 1.
I will, and we're gonna go 5 back or 5 up to 1. Let's do it that way.
All right.
So number 5, Cigar City Hunahpu Imperial Stout, but designated as the brandy barrel aged version, which I can't say.
I don't know if I've had that one. And that one has its own
Founders
day too, by the way. There's a Hunahpu day.
It does.
So
Hunahpu Day. So number 4, Founders KBS Kentucky Breakfast Stout.
Okay, that's another one. Let's stop at that one. That's another one that was sought after, right? Founders comes into California. They release like 30 something beers. I'm getting the number wrong, but they make a lot of beers. Nobody wants anything but KBS, CBS, whatever the version of S or BS that you want. Like that's all that people wanted. And Founders, to me, that's what they are. But because that's all we knew them by out here. It was like, oh, KBS.
But again, going to the marketing, that's all that we know out here. And that's the problem with these Midwest and these East Coast beers. When you get into the beer geekdom, they only know a couple of specific SKUs from that brewery's lineup. And that's all people talk about on the chat rooms and in the festivals. And then when you bring in a flood of, 10 other of their core lineup, people are like, oh, I don't know what that is. I don't want that shit. I've already got good beers out here. I just want the fancy one. You can't make a living as a brewery with just your one fancy beer when you're moving into new markets.
But I think it's a good beer, and I'm not sure what their situation is, if they got bought or not bought. I don't know, but KBS is good.
All right, so here's our buddy Vinny showing his legs at number 3 and number 2 for Pliny the Younger and Pliny the Elder, both out of Russian River.
So Elder is ranked over Younger.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Elder is ranked over Younger.
All right, no blind pig.
I don't know
if
if that's because Younger is
an over Younger.
infrequent.
It's an over Younger over Roger. Surely you can't be serious.
Oh my
Stop
God,
calling
such
me
a
Shirley.
bad joke.
What the hell's going on? Did we all just watch, and we must have all just watched Airplane this weekend because it was on Netflix, right?
I did not watch it, but I love that movie. So.
Curtis just showed that he's got a kid in college and a kid in high school about to finish.
Over under. Roger. Oh man. Wait. But Pliny, where do you guys rank it? Because I don't see Blind Pig on there, and I think that's a good one too.
Blind Pig is a great, especially when it's fresh. It's a great, refreshing IPA. It's a classic version of just a nice West Coast IPA, in my opinion.
But Pliny the Elder, you have to give it credit. It was essentially the first double IPA, if you want to call it, and it's so clean, even to this day. Like it's so clean and crisp. I don't know. It's not malty. I think it's a great beer.
Now, I'm going to show my styles. I'm going to show my bias. But if you were to put Pliny the Elder next to a Three Floyds Fresh Zombie Dust, both fresh batches, I'm going Zombie Dust Pale every time. In terms of what you just described, that clean, like vibrant aroma and fresh hop flavor, I'm going Zombie Dust.
All right. Well, I was just thinking of the last time I had Pliny the Elder, I was actually driving. When was that? Oh, I took my daughter to school last year, and so it was last fall, and we were coming back from, and we stopped in San Francisco. That was like day 2 or something as we were coming down, and we went into a Whole Foods, and they had a whole shelf full of Pliny the Elder, the 20 ounce, because I don't think those are 22s, are they? They're 20 ounce bottles.
No, I think they're almost like, I think they're like 16.9 or 20.
Okay,
they're not 22s,
right. Definitely. And they were $5.99 or $6.99 a bottle, and you could buy 6 of them. So I was like, oh well, there you go. Like this is what I'm drinking in the hotel room tonight. Oh yeah.
Curtis is like, how many people do I have with me? 6 times 4. That's 24 bottles.
And that's 24 for me because my son is not old enough and my wife hates beer.
It doesn't matter.
There we go.
It doesn't matter. You're like, put 6 in
I
your
know.
cart. You're putting 6 in your
Come
cart.
on, kids, let's get in here.
So it's funny that you say that, Curtis, because I also we come from the day, Jason, you might remember this too, from just being out here, both of you guys. I come from the time where you would go to a place and be like, excuse me, do you guys have Pliny the Elder? And they'd be like, you can have one bottle. And then they would go in the back and they'd pull out one bottle and they give you one bottle. And you're like, yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for selling me one bottle. You know, and
they always had it under the counter too. It's never
always
out of
under
the
the
open.
counter, never on the open. It was always behind. I remember I had
You had to
go
watch like social media posts and like comments waiting for someone to announce that it was available.
I'm trying to think, what's the place in Total Wine? So somebody would be like, Total Wine has it, man. It's inside the cooler. You go to the right. It's a limit of
Whole
one.
Foods in Santa Barbara used to do the same thing.
They get it on Thursday morning at 9:00. Like, you have to go there. It's like, so that's how Pliny the Elder was for us, you know? And now, you know, fast forward, and it's not everywhere. It's still not everywhere. They're very selective, and you know, we're honored to be one of the places. But to think it's in Ventura, it's pretty cool. It makes it cool to think that it's in our, you know, it's in our backyard. But that was a coveted. People would mule that stuff, man. They would go either to LA, because LA had it before us, or they would go up to Santa Rosa and come back and be like, I got cases of Pliny, man. They start selling them off to people. Like, that was a big thing.
Right.
I think anybody who's watching the show right now, though, who's considering themselves a beer geek, can appreciate where the culture has taken us, though, because I feel personally like we're a little bit past that. Maybe I'm showing my age, but I used to do the same thing. Like I said, when I go back and visit my folks in Indiana, I was only an hour and a half around Lake Michigan from Chicago, and 40 minutes from Three Floyds. I would always come back with at least a 6-pack of Zombie Dust. I'd grab some stuff from some of the breweries in Chicago, things I couldn't get. You know, I really love this delicious Neapolitan stout out of Michigan.
Look at Curtis's
the
face.
Strawberry. It was super interesting. Curtis, I don't care what you think. It was super interesting. But even the liquor stores in Indiana and Michigan City, where I grew up, 40 minutes from Three Floyds, they were on allocation too. And, you know, my mom actually one Christmas, she sweet talked the store owner of the liquor store in our hometown to get a case of Zombie Dust so she could ship the full case, because they only wanted to give her a 6-pack because that's all they are authorized to give. And it's like, no. My son's in California. He always talks about this beer. Like, is there any way, it's almost Christmas time, can you get 4 of these? Can I get 4 6-packs? And thankfully the guy was super cool about it. But I mean, some of these beers at one time, at the height of the craft beer, when people were going crazy, like, oh, this new great thing, beers were on allocation and you had to scramble to try to secure what you could.
Yeah, or you had to wait in line. If you guys all remember the beer releases, and you get up there at 6 a.m. Everybody wanted to be the first in line, and
we'd be drinking
it was a party.
Mainstream beers in anticipation of the crazy beer.
Anticipation of the crazy beer, yes. So, all right.
So with that being said, Joby, the ultimate line, the phone call, got to get in the crazy Q line. Number 1, West Blooder 12 out of Belgium.
All right, I don't know. I think that one transcends. It transcends beer. I think it's like in its own category, and I think there's a variety of reasons. I mean, I think everyone has a story if you're really into it, and it is just, if you're about to do the monks, it is brewed. For those that don't know, it's brewed by monks.
And we brew this beer for the masses to enjoy.
And at one time, that's right, you can only get it there or across the street from there. And then they actually did a fundraiser. You remember that? Just you got those bottles of black.
I did get that. One time they released in the United
What
States.
What a great fundraiser! That was a brilliant idea.
Can you believe the fact though, that the Belgians they had to support a new roof on the Abbey, so they went to the Americans to fund their roof.
Brilliant. That was brilliant.
We were happy to help out with it.
We were happy to help. And it was two bottles and a glass, right? It was like some kind of pack. Like, we're going to give you a glass.
With 2 glasses.
4-pack with 2 glasses. Thank you. It's like, we're going to give you some glasses. Don't worry. We're going to give you something for supporting us. But to me, it goes beyond that release.
Pause.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as Jason's going to get that, one of the things that is, so if we look further down the list at Saint Bernard's Ab 12, so what may not be known outside of the beer geekdom is that Saint Bernard is brewed the Westy 12 for many years because their brewery was completely it was trashed.
It was trash. Yeah.
They couldn't brew anything there, and so
Some people believe that that's the same beer, right?
right.
Curtis, there's a rumor that that is the same beer.
And so like, well, you're talking about transcends and transcending and all this kind of stuff. I love that I've been able to have it a couple times, but I'm also I prefer the Apt 12. I mean, like that is and I think just because because it's so readily available that people discount it as a beer. And where is that at anyway? I'm looking at to see where
it's down. It's down low. It was
how
like
far
in the
down
middle.
the list it is. Oh yeah, there
somewhere
it is. 30.
After.
Yeah, it's down at 30.
Yeah. Yeah. So why I say transcend is because I made a pilgrimage. I've been to Belgium. I didn't get to go to the monastery, but I bought it there. I bought it in Belgium. I bought it at the Beer Temple, which is a really cool place in Brussels. And again, the lady has it behind the counter. She gets a special allocation from the monastery. Like, so having drank it in Belgium, brought it all the way back in my bag from Belgium, and also been able to get the special edition. I just think it's one of those beers where it ranks up there. Is it the best beer in the world?
I'm totally
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it has so much attached to it that how could it not be? You know,
it's like what we
so
always talk about. The experience sometimes overshadows what the quality actually is. I agree with Joby entirely. Having made a pilgrimage to the Abbey as well, was not able to get through the full line. So just to be clear with everyone, it is a single phone number. You must call over and over again, trying to get an appointment so you can go into a door and get a wooden crate full of Westvleteren 12. If not, you got to go to the visitor center across the street, have lunch, and get a simple little 4-pack in a crazy cardboard marketing tray. And it's not the same, but it still holds a lot of weight. And there's something about coming home and saying, this bottle made it through baggage claim. It made it through a countryside. And by the way, the drive, Curtis, if you can convince Genevieve to let you out on a pilgrimage, go. Because the countryside is beautiful. You're out in these wonderful farmlands. You're in the middle of Belgium. You got to spend the whole day in Bruges, which has wonderful food and architecture. It is the experience. It's just like what we talk about when we go on vacation on a cruise ship or into the islands and you drink a bottle of wine, like, oh, I love this wine. And then you come home and you buy the bottle. And you're like, this doesn't taste anything like when I was on vacation. But there's something about the experience.
Yeah, I also found that Westy, because I still have one, I think. They have a double. They have an 8 and a 6, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it's an 8, 12, but there's definitely a double, which is the 8, which is interesting because there's a couple other Belgian breweries that use the 8 for the double. And then they have a wit. Don't they have like a Westy wit? It's
the
like
wit is actually really good.
Yeah, it's funny. St. Bernardus has a great wit too. Coincidence?
What?
Coincidence? St. Bernardus wit, by the way. I know that wits are like this bastard, like redheaded stepchild, wheat beers. Like people are like, oh, I don't drink wheat beer, man. But a good Belgian Shock Top ruined it. Blue Moon.
Yeah, I went and reached through this camera and smack you right in the chin, Curtis.
But if you drink a good Belgian wit on a hot day, it's delicious. No orange needed.
So
Please
on their
don't put the
website,
orange.
No, yeah, absolutely no orange.
Don't put the orange. Don't do it. That's you. I don't even like the orange at the end of my sushi dinner, for Christ's sake. Don't put that shit here. But on their website, they got the Westvleteren Blonde. They got the Westvleteren 8 and the 12.
Okay, yeah, the 8 is the double. I managed to get one of those. So, and then the other awesome thing about buying it, Jason, at the Beer Temple, I'm not sure how it was at the visitor center, was not having any idea how much it is and just asking for all of them. Like, I'll take the 8, the 12, the everything, and then getting the price in euros and having to do the conversion. But you're like, I don't know, I don't care. Here's my euros.
You just swipe your card.
Please take it. Take my money. And it's like, holy shit, that's how much I paid for those.
Well, I did a tour. I did the Chimay monastery tour, and so that was. It's similar to that, except Chimay is the largest what is it, Trappist Brewery, but still the same kind of thing. I mean, when you walk through, well, except for when you walk through Chimay, it is like you're walking through a commercial brewery. I mean, that's how big it is. And but then you get to go outside to the Gift and to the restaurant and have a cheese plate, which is Chimay cheese, and then your sampler
delicious.
of Chimay and everything else. So it works. It's pretty nice that way too.
Yeah, and you can't help
I like where you're going
but
with
bring
that.
something home.
You can't help but bring. I like that statement, Joby. You can't help but bring something home. And I've talked a couple times tonight about my hometown. I think if you're a beer geek, I would recommend and I suggest
Does
finding
Curtis
that
have
place.
a bat in his house? What's going on?
Yeah, he got a little nervous for a second. You see that?
Is there a bat in there?
I remember. Well, you were talking about bringing stuff home, and I have a tin back here that was that I bought on that trip, which was the Chimay tin. It had the blue and the red, and then it had two
Nice.
glasses in it, and that was packed into my suitcase, and it made the trip from Belgium. So it was. I was just trying to see if it was close enough for me to grab, but no.
We thought you were being attacked by something.
What?
Yeah. Whoa, watch out. I'm thinking about the direction that we're going right now, though. When you really tap into the history of beer and brewing, if you're a beer geek like the three of us, tonight's show obviously is veered all over the beverage scene.
Beer, it's very beer focused today, though. I love it.
Very beer focused, which is where we got our roots in a lot of ways. I mean, the beer brought the three of us together. Curtis, I met you on the Tom and Sandy show when we were talking about beer, and Joby, you and I, really got acquainted through Happy Hour when it was in its infancy, because I started infiltrating the show after being on Pints and Pairings with Curtis. I just
Good way to put
started
it.
showing up and being the roadie, and eventually was an on-air personality. But beer has a really great communal quality. And I'd imagine that anybody who loves beer, anybody who feels like they're connected to the beer industry, has a brewery in their hometown. And to say you brought something back, especially if you no longer live in that town, you brought something back with you that tastes delicious and it brings back these memories like we're discussing, has a lot of impact. My stories about traveling to Belgium really resonate with what you're saying, Joby, about your pilgrimage as well. And Curtis, you went, remind me of the Crow, the brewery that you brought back beer from in South Dakota. I think it was
Surly Brewery from Crow Creek. You're talking about
Crow Creek. I mean, I was able to experience some of what Curtis knew and loved through the beer that he brought back to me. He brought back an IPA from something that he remembered, and then the beverage that has really created the roots and the foundation of this show provides a lot of great discussion, a lot of great stories and memories. Looking back, even in Michigan City, Indiana, where I grew up on the tip of Lake Michigan, there is now a brewery that rekindled the love and the origins of brewing in Indiana and Michigan City with Zorn Brew Works. The building is the original microbrewery from decades ago. They've rekindled it. They're brewing there again. They've been able to really revitalize the name. And I imagine there's a lot of stories across the country like this. And I'm looking forward, maybe some of the listeners can start throwing in their experience with breweries in their hometown that really have created industry, camaraderie, and great beverage in their hometown.
I think that was I think you summed it up, Jason. That's pretty much right. And I think it's very fitting. I don't want to churn us on the show, but it is as we record this, and one day when we go back and listen to this and remember, hey, we were on Zoom, we were quarantined, we were not allowed to socialize. So beer being social, I think has been the hardest. I think it's one of the hardest things right now, and I think that's something that our breweries are struggling, our restaurants, our bars, everybody's struggling, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to go down that road, but what I want to do is, it's very hard to say, hey, have some beer, but let's not be together and socialize. It's weird. It is weird. And it's great to drink at home. There's nothing wrong with. I'm drinking at home right now.
It turns out you don't need to have fun to drink. That's
right. That was way back in March.
Put that on a t-shirt.
That was way back in March. We've come a long way since March, but that's all. That's just what I'm saying. There is we have there's restrictions, there's all this stuff, but everybody just really wants to have a beer and like socialize. So here's to one day being able to do that again. I guess that's
Right.
the best way to say it.
Well, and just to do a tail round to what I was talking about in Morro Bay with the Three Stacks and a Rock brewery, the Nano Brewery, which I think maybe led this all down this rabbit hole of beer that we've been talking about. But they, I mean, everyone is there and they want to sit at the tables and they want to talk and they want to talk over beer. And when I went to pick up these beers that I'm having tonight from Institution Ale, you can find Institution Ale right off of Flynn Boulevard in 101 in Camarillo, California.
Oh, there we go.
No,
There
but
we go.
but when I pulled into the parking lot, there, like almost all of their parking lot is now outdoor seating with umbrellas, and it looks great. And I hope they keep it when we go back because being in Southern California, you can sit outside, but then you think of, oh shit, the reason we're outside is because, if I breathe on you, then that's not good.
We can't be inside.
Right.
Yeah. I can breathe on you outside, Curtis.
Right.
When I breathe on you outside, the impact is not as great as when I breathe on you inside. And when I breathe on you walking to my table or to the bathroom, that's very intense. But when I breathe on you when you're just coming to take my order,
That's why you have your mask on the way to the bathroom, too.
Right. Indoors. Anyway.
mask on.
Right.
Mask on.
Outdoors too, Curtis. Outdoors too.
Right. If you're not,
I mean,
if you're not actively stuffing something into your mouth, then you better have that thing covered.
It is well known. It is. I just laugh because Jason just got a beer off camera.
Right.
Like
Hey.
You like that? My lovely assistant brought me a new beverage because I
Very
ran
nice.
out, and I don't want to go into the closing of tonight's show without a beverage, and I don't
No,
want to
that's
be
okay.
able to cheers without a glass. Because Joby, just a second ago, you did say cheers
I
to
did say
us,
it.
and
Well, I think it's a very fitting 50th show that we're on Zoom, and the way we started the show was going to places and socializing. I don't know why I can't say socializing tonight, but
Socializing.
maybe it's that big ass beer you've been drinking.
it might be the 10% beer that I had earlier.
It's the
In my head.
socials that it's that syllable.
Socialization. But that's how we started the show. We would go to places and talk to people, and so it's like, it's very fitting that we're on Zoom right now and that we're undisclosed locations, Camarillo, wherever we are right now. Institution. I bet Curtis is that institution. I feel like he's actually broadcasting.
At this point, I think you're right, Joby. That backdrop is actually just a photo that
it's
he
just a
put up.
photo.
It's green screened all the way.
He's at the brew house right now.
He literally is at the brewery. They just keep giving him beers off the side. I do it. But I think it's fitting for our 50th that we're on Zoom and then we can't socialize. So that's why I was cheersing to socializing again.
Right on. All
Curtis,
right.
what do you think about a quick break and then come back with a recap of our favorite show from Happy Hour / Happy Hour again as we close out?
That
tonight?
sounds like a good idea. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Happy Hour. We'll be back next week with more questionable content, great guests, and drinks all around.